What's up everyone, it's Kelly and today I've got another swatch review for you. So today we are talking about the newest collection from Holo Taco. We've got their Holo Renaissance collection. Now if you haven't heard of Holo Taco before, they are a nail polish brand created by YouTuber Cristine of Simply Nailogical, and all of their polishes are 10 free, meaning they are free of 10 of the potentially harmful ingredients that can be found in nail polish. They're vegan, meaning they do not use any animal derived ingredients, and they're cruelty free, meaning they do not test their products on animals. So they just released 6 new nail polishes. They're all these beautiful crushed hollow shades in these really deep jeweled tones that are perfect for fall into winter in my opinion. And I have to say I'm a big fan of the crushed hollow formula, so I was super excited about these, but let me just dive into the swatches, then we can talk a little bit more about my thoughts on them, pricing, availability, all that good stuff. So roll the swatch footage. So as with all of my swatch review videos, I am using base coat underneath all of my swatches just to protect my natural nail and prevent any stains. Today I'm using the Holo Taco base coat. So we'll start off with the shade Cardinal Sins. This one is a red crushed hollow, and as you can see, this one has a brighter, warmer sort of tone to it, but as I apply more coats, it does get a little bit deeper and darker. The opacity on this one is super impressive. You can see it's almost a one coater, but like I said, popping on that second coat just made it look a little bit deeper and more of a fall winter kind of color. And then we also get the depth of that slight hollow sparkle with all those crushed hollow flakes in there. So really gorgeous shade, definitely a very jeweled tone. I'm going to be saying that a lot in this video, but this really does feel like a beautiful jewel on my nails. And then we have the shade Wine to Table. Again, we have that crushed hollow formula, but this time it is in what I would describe as an eggplant purple color. But what's really exciting about this one is, again, it's sort of on the lighter side. So it's not one of those deep purple shades that in lower lighting looks black. You can still definitively see that warm purpley color coming through. And again, the formula was super easy on this one. It gave me perfect 2-coat coverage, and you can see that little sparkle of hollow, especially around the edges where it's out of focus. Just a really beautiful shade, and for some reason this sort of warm purple always makes me feel like autumn, so I think this is the perfect shade for this time of year. Next up we have the shade Smalt of the Earth, and this one is described as a blue crushed hollow, but I will say on me I feel like this one definitely gave a little bit of a purpley tone to it as well. I would describe it as a blurple, somewhere just sitting between blue and being purple, and I think this is another really beautiful shade. Unlike the first two, it looked a little bit more sheer in the first coat, but it still ended up giving me perfect coverage in the second. And again, it's a really gorgeous shade. I feel like this kind of blue gives me that winter holiday sort of feel, so I really enjoyed this one as well. And again, we have that beautiful hollow sparkle when it hits the light just right. Moving on, we have a couple of greens in the collection, which I was very excited about. The first of which is Venetian Views, and this one is actually described as being a teal, but I will say on application, this one, at least with my very yellowy undertone, read as a forest green kind of color. So you could still see that cooler undertone to it, but it does feel like a definitively green sort of color on me, and I was very pleased about that. If you know me, you know I love a green nail polish, so I thought this one was perfectly stunning. I love how deep the color is, and especially with that hollow sparkle in there, just giving it a little bit of a rainbowy coloring. I feel like you could really make it work as different colors just depending on what you're wearing it with, because I do think it could match with something that's on the teal side, but also something that's a little bit more green. And then we have their actual green of the collection. This one is called Far From the Tree, and this one is a very different kind of shade of green. So we have a more yellow undertone here, and this one is another perfectly stunning color in my opinion. Sort of a foresty, grassy kind of green with a little bit of that warmth to it, and similar to the blue shade, it did feel a little bit sheer in the first coat, but it ended up being perfect in two. And this one is a brighter color, so you can just see that green coming through so perfectly, and little sparks of what looks like is actually a golden hollow sparkle, but it might just be because of the depth of layering the green over the hollow. But either way, super gorgeous color. And then last but not least, we have this shade Nightlife, and this one is a medium silver crushed hollow polish. Again, a little bit lighter on the first coat, but I ended up getting perfect opacity in the second, and I really do love a neutral shade like this. I like that this is a nice medium tone, so it can work for really any season. And And of course, having that sort of neutral base really highlights all of the holo sparkle running throughout. Again, you can especially see it where the camera is out of focus around my cuticle area, and it just feels like such a gorgeous nightly color. And here are all the shades together, and I have to say, looking at them side by side, I think they're truly beautiful. I love collections that all have the same finish because to me it feels like it would be perfect for doing a Skittle manicure where each nail is a different color. And I do think that the colors actually flow into each other really nicely as well. Like I keep saying, beautiful jeweled tone vibes here, definitely loving the Renaissance inspired theming. And like I keep saying, I feel like this is a very good collection to wear for fall, but also into the winter months, especially having the red and the greens for that more classic holiday vibe, but also that very wintry blue. And then of course that gray that I think would work for any time of year. So yeah, let's talk about these a little bit more. So those are the polishes, and I really enjoyed these. The Crushed Holo formula is definitely one of my favorites from Holo Taco. It's just so smooth, it's easy to use. I love the colors that they've created with it so far. They just feel so rich. And I'm especially excited about the fact that they featured 2 greens in this collection. I know I always say it, but there's not enough green nail polishes in the world, and I really appreciate having the option between a cool toned green and a warm toned green. I feel like too often brands will either go into like a chartreuse color or they'll just do basically a teal and call it a green. So it's kind of nice to have a little bit more nuance in the green tones. And I do think that these are all just such beautiful jeweled colors. They remind me a lot of the winter holidays especially, but I feel like this time of year when the sky starts to get a little bit cloudy and everything feels moody and vampy, this is just the perfect color palette for that. So now let's get into pricing and availability. All these polishes come in the usual Holo Taco 12 milliliter bottles. They do feature a wide flat brush that has a rounded tip, so application super easy, and they retail on the Holo Taco website for $15 USD each. You can also get the full set of 6 polishes, and that retails for the discounted price of $80 USD. So I'm gonna link everything down in the description. You can check them out if you're interested, but I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this collection. What do you think of that Crushed Holo formula? What do you think of these colors? And are you planning on picking any of them up, or have you already? Leave it all in the comments, we can chat about it. And if you enjoy my swatch and review videos, please hit that like button. It really helps me out. It lets me know I'm doing a good job. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, I would really appreciate if you could subscribe. I love you all, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye. Today's question isn't necessarily a would you rather, but it's kind of like an if you had to do XYZ thing. I don't know, I just thought this one up. I thought it was really funny. So if you had to permanently remove a color from existing in the nail polish world, what would it be? So I'm not talking like a specific color like Essie Bikini Sotini. I'm talking about like a color of the rainbow. And I've been thinking a lot about this one because I just came up with this scenario and I thought it was fun. And I was thinking, I don't think there's one specific color of nail polish that I won't wear. Like I do enjoy wearing every color, but if I had to permanently remove a color from existing in the nail polish world, I would have to pick yellow. Don't get me wrong, I love wearing yellow nail polish, but I do feel like in general, that is the hardest formula to work with and the hardest color to get right. And also just because of my undertones, I feel like a lot of yellows just don't suit my skin tone. So even though I wear them, a lot of times they don't look amazing on me. And that's also with dealing with the fact that usually they're like 3 to 4 coats. So if I had to pick a color to permanently remove, it would definitely be yellow for me. But I'm curious to hear what other people think. I know a lot of people in the community tend to prefer the less neutral kind of colors and like less reds and pinks. So I'm curious to hear what everybody would remove. So let me know in the comments, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye.